Hey guys, I wanted to, since most of you really liked the Unit 1 module video, I wanted to make sure I did this for each module. So this one is going to talk about the Unit 2 Literary Analysis module, or that unit. So um, you've got two due dates here. October 11th is the rough draft, and then the final draft is October 18th. So let's go in and talk about this unit. You've got reading assignments, a couple here. Again, if you're not able to access the CVCC databases, and I don't know if you did this for English 111, but I'll show you in a few minutes what I mean. You usually have to have you have to have a library card, or you have to have a code. And this folder right here, it's real easy to access and to get a hold of one of those if you don't already have one. And then textbook reading, this one is about the literary analysis. Here's a literary terms list. You're going to need to make sure you look at this list because there is a literary terms quiz in this unit as well. It's easy, and a lot of it's terms you already know, but it's terms that you need to know to be able to pick out in the story that you're going to choose to write about. The Lottery by Shirley Jackson is not what you're writing about for this assignment. The Lottery, this right here is just a short story example that I'm providing to show you what short story literary analysis would look like. So here, this is the full text of The Lottery. I would like for you to read through it. Again, you're not writing your literary analysis about this. You're just looking at this for sample purposes only. But this is a really good story. It's a short story, pretty short. So I would encourage that you read it. If you don't want to read it, I actually have the video, part 1 and part 2 of the video. It's very, very short. And again, these videos are like ancient. So the quality is not really good, but you get a really good general idea of what this story is about. So here you have the story, and down here you actually have the video that's broken into 2 parts. Here I have a student sample essay that is about the lottery. And if you click on it, the document will come up, and this is what your literary analysis should look like. Okay, as far as formatting, you're still using MLA formatting, last name, page number, your info in the left corner, a title, and then you've got your body paragraphs. Now this is a 2-page essay that you guys are writing. This goes over a little bit to 4 pages actually. And then there's a works cited at the end, but I wanted to show you really what a really good literary analysis looks like, because you're not just surface reading. You really are reading these stories to look for deeper meaning. And if you have to go online to look at, other interpretations of the story, or look up, what something might mean, please do that. I do that all the time when I'm having to read certain things, especially when there's always an underlying meaning or message. So I don't want to miss anything. So feel free to research the 2 stories that you have to choose from before you decide which one you want to write about. Now again, this sample essay is about the lottery, and you'll be able to see exactly what I mean by analyzing and looking deeper than the surface. But don't look at the essay until you have either read the story or watched the video of the story, because you're not going to understand what's going on or what I'm analyzing in this paper. And then I've also included this so that you could see exactly how citing sources looks within the essay. And I also have the works cited at the end. So these 2 sources are what are cited within the essay. So you definitely want to make sure you check this sample out, read through it, and look at it. And yours should look like this as far as citing, as far as MLA format, and so forth. Okay, so that sample is there for you. And here, right here, this is an article source example. This is the source that is actually used in that essay sample I just showed you. Okay, and it's super I wanted you to see what a really good, super duper, scholarly, credible article looks like. And this is what it looks like. This comes out of the database. So I'll show you in just a few minutes how to get there. So this is just a good example. You would read through and figure out, okay, what part of this article or what quote can I use to support my points for the literary analysis? Okay, so this is all in the reading section. Let me go to the resources section. Here again, the Writing Center info is here. If you click on this, you could request some tutoring. These links talk about the literary analysis and how to incorporate research within it. And then again, here are the links that you will probably refer to, you know, in other classes as well sometimes about MLA. And then, of course, plagiarism and how to avoid it, because sometimes people think that plagiarism is just copying and pasting, and that's not what it is all the time. Sometimes we plagiarize and don't even realize we're doing it. So you definitely want to make sure you always give credit. You always give credit where credit is due, and you have to cite in both places, on the works cited page, and those same sources need to be cited within your essay. Okay, so let's go to the assignments right here, writing assignments. Okay, it says, when completing these assignments, please keep in mind that reading and understanding literature requires critical thinking and looking beneath the surface. While you read these stories, take notes, look for further meaning through the characters, time period that the story was written, the plot, the setting. You may have to read the story multiple times. You need to research the author a little bit, find out about the author, because a lot of times these short stories come from authors who are motivated by something that happened in their own lives. So you want to look at that too as being something to analyze within your essay, the author's purpose or the author's motivation for writing what they wrote. The first assignment, this is the literary terms quiz. Okay, it's easy. It really is. You should make 100 on this, but you can certainly refer to the literary terms link in the reading section, the reading folder of this module or this unit, so that you could refer back to it and be able to answer these. But you're going to look at these literary terms because you're going to figure out what literary terms are present within the story that you choose, and you can determine what you can write about there. Okay, you have the assignment 2, which is the rough draft, the literary analysis, and there are 3 links here. You've got the literary analysis essay outline. Let's click on that. You do not have to submit an outline. You do not need to submit that to me. But I think it's important to outline. I think all students should outline before they write a paper. And if you don't, I just think that you're not going to be organized and you're not going to cover everything you need to cover. So this is just a sample outline that you could use. Feel free to fill it in, use it, and then let that help you write your paper. So there is a sample outline available for you. And then you've got the literary analysis instructions. So you'll click on that. And then you'll have 2 short stories to choose from. 2 short stories. You've got Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin, and then The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. These 2 are, Story of an Hour is very short. It's a pretty short story. This is a short story too, but it's a little longer, but they're both wonderful stories and really good stories. They're not happy-go-lucky stories, but it's American literature basically, so a lot of stories written back in the time periods that these were written in, some of them are doom and gloom, but you'll be able to pull some major issues out of them as well as you read. Now this link that I've got right here for Story of an Hour, if you click on it, it'll take you to other stories too. You cannot choose from those other stories. You have to choose Story of an Hour or, in this link, The Yellow Wallpaper. So those are your 2 choices, and you only choose one. This is a 2 to 3 page paper, so at least 2 full pages, just like your rhetorical analysis that you just submitted. Then you want to add a 3rd page that is going to be your works cited page with your sources on it. 2 sources are required: the short story And you've already got the links up here. You just need to gather the information from the links in order to create a citation. And I can show you guys how to do that if you have questions. But you want to choose one source from NC Live that offers literary criticism of the short story. You do not want to choose an online source, because a lot of what's online is just like Cliff's Notes or Spark Notes, and that's not a good research, academic, scholarly article. So you want to make sure that you only use two sources, the short story itself and then one outside article that you can find from NC Live that offers literary criticism about the short story. This is a little bit of information about using NC Live, and again, you'll make sure that you cite the short story and the article in correct MLA format on your works cited page, then also in citations within your essay whenever you use information from them. And you should use quotes from the short story. You should use quotes from the article in order to prove your points and to prove that whatever literary terms you choose are present in there. And the organization, choose 3 literary devices from the list provided in Blackboard. That was already provided in the reading folder. So you want to choose 3, okay? And you want to choose 3 that you think are present in the short story that you're writing about. And some of the most common are like symbols that are present in the story, or how the time period impacts the message in the story. Or it could be, the conflicts that are in the story. It could be similes and metaphors, figurative language, imagery, irony, foreshadowing, personification. There's all those different literary terms that you could choose from depending on what your story displays. Okay, so make sure you read through this. You explain how these literary devices impact the story. Why are they important? Give examples of them and why are they important to the overall message of the story. And then tie your analysis into your thesis statement. Always, you're not summarizing the short story. That's not what the purpose of this essay is. This essay is for the purpose of you looking deeper than the surface and analyzing it, focusing on literary terms used. Okay? It is necessary, though, to begin the paper with a short summary of the story, the name of the story and the author. You definitely need to do that, but your whole entire paper should not be a summary. And then here, formatting. Again, I've actually put right here, if you look, this is how your story website should look. Like here, I did the first one for you. Like if you're writing about the story of an hour, you want to put Chopin, Kate, period, and then story of an hour in quotation marks with the period here, and then just put the link. Okay, and that's how you would cite that source on your works cited page. Within your essay, since it begins here with Chopin, that's what you're going to include in text. So you'll use a quote from the story and then you'll cite it by putting Chopin in parentheses. Literary conventions, write in present tense or past tense. You could do either one, but just make sure you stick to one or the other. Don't waffle between the two. Keep yourself out of the analysis. That means no first person and no third person, which means do not use yourself. Don't talk to your reader. Don't address your reader. And you don't want to use I, me, my, us, we. You don't want to use that. Short story titles and article titles are put in quotation marks. Avoid summarizing the plot. Instead, analyze, okay, based on literary terms. Use literary terms to discuss your points. Here are a couple again that I mentioned. And then no contractions. Make sure you support your points with several quotations and paraphrases. But make sure that the majority of your paper should be you. Do not overuse quotes from these sources. And then use the CVCC NC Live database to find your second source. All right. I'm going to post a second video that shows you how to do this. If you have any questions about this assignment, definitely email me. There's a checklist here as well that you need to check over to make sure you've done everything correctly before you submit your rough draft. And remember, please give your best effort on your rough draft. Then you have a final draft here that's due on 10/18, and you also have a literary analysis discussion board that is due on 10/18. So make sure you read through the instructions for that and submit all of these assignments on time. I'm going to submit another video that talks about how to use NC Live and the CVCC databases. Again, questions, contact me.